My name is Beth Joseph. I work in the storage and big data marketing organization at HPE. Keyword marketing, right? And I know this is a tech field day, not a marketing field day, so my section is going to be quick. But what Calvin and I wanted to do was to make sure that you guys got a sense of how we tell our story, our point of view. We talk about our strategy, how we talk about our vision across the HPE Storage and big data organization. It's kind of an important thing because this is not just a marketing presentation, right? This is what our roadmap is built on, what our vision is about, and what our strategy is about. It starts at the top with Milan Shetty, who is the Vice President and General Manager of our storage and big data organization at HPE, and it runs all the way through to my bodyguards over here, Alex and Brian, who are with our engineering and product management team. So it's infiltrated all of us, right? Marketing and otherwise. So with that, I want to introduce you to this idea that we have that intelligence changes everything. So if you think about intelligence in your personal life these days, probably a lot of you use Waze on your phone, right? Waze gets you faster, gets you where you want to be faster. It routes you around, accidents. It lets you know where there's a police officer ahead, all that kind of thing, right? It's using AI to do that. We talk about that because it's really changed the way it's making people safer on the roads, right? It's giving them more time back in their day. We want to take that same type of intelligence that people see in their personal lives and help them with business outcomes, right? So let's apply that idea of intelligence to business outcomes. So how are we going to do that, right? We think about it in context of these eras. So first, the flash era. 2014 or so is when we introduced our first flash array based on 3PAR. It was a huge time in our business, right? Flash was taking the world by storm. And we saw not incremental, huge gains in performance and in latency, right? 10 milliseconds to a half a millisecond, so huge gains, right? Today, 5-6 years later, I guess, flash is still important, but it's more like table stakes now. We're going to see some incremental improvements in performance, with SCM, with storage class memory and NVMe. But that's going to be, we're thinking the 2 to 3% improvements, not the 95% improvements that we saw previously. So, flash was a game changer back then. It's more table stakes now, but it's still something that we deal with day in and day out, right? Next, we're living in this era of cloud, where customers have wanted to have that agility, right, to move their data and move their workloads to where they need to be. They've wanted that as a service experience that the public cloud introduced all of us to. So that's kind of where we live today. But what we think is coming next, and what we're on the edge of, or the dawn of, is this idea of an intelligence era, where data is, where the experience is going to be AI driven, both from an infrastructure operations perspective, i.e. InfoSight, which we'll talk a lot about today, and from an AI analytics perspective, right? So to help customers really unlock the value that they see in their data. And those are the types of things that we think are going to help customers drive their business and catapult it into the next decade. So this is dawning. See the slide? It's dawning, right? It's bringing up the intelligence enterprise, right? We think it has these characteristics. It's always on. It's always fast, right? That's your bringing the flash abilities forward. It's always agile. It's bringing the cloud abilities forward, and it's built for innovation, right? This is the innovation where customers are going to be able to drive see new revenue streams, drive more business outcomes, right? It's that innovation and it's that AI-driven experience that we think is going to do that. Of course, so why is this intelligence thing so important, right? We think it boils down to 4 different reasons. First is this idea of infrastructure management. If you look at the green box down at the bottom, can I point? Yeah, there we go, the storage box, right? So you can have a fast, reliable storage array, right? We probably all have them. I know we sell a lot of them that are great, but that's only going to solve a fraction of your problem when there's a performance issue or some other kind of situation going on, right? So we have data from IDC that talks about 90% of problems arising from above the storage layer, right? So those are the boxes above the white line, network, server, virtualization. Those types of issues are difficult to diagnose, right? Where are they, right? How are you going to pinpoint them? There's probably hundreds or thousands of situations that you have to analyze to figure out exactly where is that problem here, hundreds of variables, right? What we found is that that's getting too complex for humans to solve, right? So intelligence will help with that. And next is the idea of hybrid cloud complexity. So you take the on-prem cloud, right? The thing on the I guess the left here, right? There's a bunch of workloads that run mission critical systems, general purpose systems, secondary. You get the idea. All siloed, right? We know that there's a lot of complexity in that. So you combine that with access to a public cloud or multiple public clouds, and all of a sudden the complexity increases tremendously. So again, we think that intelligence can help in this type of a situation too. So the next one, so those two were kind of about the infrastructure that, that is in data centers or in the cloud today. This one starts to be more about the data, right? How do you know that your data is in the right place at the right time? Is it primary data? Is it general purpose? Is it backup data? Is it something that you need to archive, right? Where is it? How do you know that it's like I said, in the right place at the right time? How do you know too that maybe you want to take copies of it, right? So you can do test dev or you can do analytics. It gets very quickly. You don't know if it's in the right place. You don't know if the placement is good. So and then the fourth area, and this is where there's a lot of opportunity and where we see a lot of excitement happening in our business. And this is the idea of being able to extract value from the data, right? So IDC's latest number, 40 zettabytes of data in 2020, which is, I guess, in 2 months, right? But you still need a place to store that. That's great. We've been doing that for years. A lot of our competitors have been doing that for years. But the hidden ingredient here is helping customers unlock that data, right? How are we going to do that? That's where we think intelligence is going to be able to apply a lot of knowledge or a lot of help. So our premise is that our customers need an intelligent data strategy. It delivers across these 5 spectrums. It's always on, it's always fast, it's automated and on demand. It gives you that as a service experience that customers have come to expect. It's hybrid by design. It gives you the agility to move data between on-prem and clouds, and it delivers global intelligence. So you get really good visibility into what's happening. So how are we going to do this? This slide didn't quite build correctly. I'm just going to build it all out. There you go. So the way we think we're going to do this is we're going to help customers turn the data challenges that I just talked about, those 4, into business outcomes. And it's going to be built on this idea that we call the intelligent data platform. And again, you're going to see a lot of the technology described throughout this day, so we won't get into too much of this now, but let's quickly look at a few of these things. So the workload composable systems, across multiple types of workloads, obviously, mission critical, general purpose, you get the idea. I'll show you those in a minute. And then, of course, we want to be able to extend that to the cloud, whether it's an edge cloud, a private cloud, or the future really is hybrid clouds. And then the arrows here talk about the data mobility. That's kind of a key ingredient here. The mobility be able to move between the on-prem systems and the cloud, right? That's definitely a key feature in this intelligent data platform. On top of that, we have permeated what we call the global intelligence engine throughout our workload composable systems in the cloud with predictive analytics. So InfoSight, it delivers 86%, or it will predict and prevent 86% of problems before a customer even sees them. And I know we're going to get into a little bit of that later today too. The global intelligence engine includes a workload fingerprint, so it can identify performance problems in workloads. You combine that with global learning. InfoSight these days is deployed on, I think, in the area of 100,000 systems between servers and storage, things like SimpliVity that it's just starting to become available on. So with all of that knowledge, then we can make predictions, we can make recommendations. And that helps not just a storage administrator, but a VM administrator. We have great examples of customers who have been able to find, I'll just say, hiccups in their VMs, right? Some storage array is really slow, and everybody's pointing their finger at the storage administrator saying, what happened? It's your fault. And he's able to use InfoSight to say, no, you know what? There's a rogue VM out there. We're going to address that, and the VM farm is happy again, right? So this type of technology helps not just, like I said, for storage situations, but for VM administrators. And then on top of that, if I start over here on the left, right, we for application workloads, the intelligent data platform includes the ability to provide application-aware data protection, for example, for the traditional business apps and for the up-and-coming, container-based applications, right? We provide big data and AI pipelines with a bunch of technology here, including the MapR and Blue Data, who are both acquisitions that we did recently. Blue Data about, I think, November of last year, and then MapR just a couple months ago, right? So that's all part of our big data and AI portfolio these days. We have automation connectors so that DevOps folks can have that as a service experience and that they get in the public cloud with all the different tools there. And then the future really is in cloud data management. So more to come there. And then if I layer on top of that, so who is this for? Right? The intelligent data platform is applicable to all of these different personas. And we could probably spend some time walking through the chart, right? For an infrastructure admin, we're going to allow them to, administrate or innovate, not administrate, right? Take some of that off their plates. For the DevOps guy, we're going to give them a pipeline, using MapR and Blue Data to make big data and analytics easier, right? They can solve problems in minutes rather than in weeks. You get the idea. VM admin, I told you that story a minute ago. So that's the intelligent data platform. So the good news is, or at least the good news from my perspective is that we are well on our way to delivering this to our customers. This is those workload composable systems. This is another view of that slide, of the bottom part of that slide. Both the workload composable systems that we have and the cloud solutions. We're going to talk a little bit more about this in detail in the next section here, but just generally, mission critical, we talk about Primera. We launched it June 18th at HPE Discover. Hopefully some of you saw it then. I know Stephen did, yeah. Primera is this next generation tier 0, mission critical storage that we think filled the gap in our industry. So it's been great. It's been well received. We still sell 3PAR. We have a huge install base of 3PAR customers. We love them. If they want to stay with 3PAR, that's great. If they want to move to Primera or to Nimble for that matter, that's fine too. But we know that a lot of customers still run mission critical apps on and workloads on their 3PARs. For general purpose arrays, or general purpose solutions, we have Nimble Storage. I think you all know Nimble Storage. And then for HCI in this general purpose space, we have SimpliVity. Secondary is HPE Recovery Manager, which is software that comes with all of our primary arrays, runs with store once, and then the Nimble hybrid arrays, Nimble adaptive flash arrays for secondary workloads. AI and analytics, I talked a little bit about that. The acquisitions of Blue Data and MapR running on Apollo are our solution in that space. And then for the cloud, right, we have MapR does what's the words I'm looking for? Well, the application here for MapR at the edge is, think about an oil and gas application where they need to do analysis right away, real-time analysis, or an autonomous car where the analysis has to happen right away. That's where MapR helps at the cloud. We have SimpliVity at the edge. We have SimpliVity at the edge too. We have a lot of customers there that use it for robo type environments. Private cloud, you can see all the solutions here. These are organized, so Primera and Synergy, for example, a true composable system where it's basically for any enterprise application, brings composability with HPE OneView. And then we have SimpliVity and Nimble Storage DHCI for private clouds as well. And then hybrid cloud, I think we touched on most of this, Blue Data and MapR. Along with our HPE Cloud Volumes that works with Nimble Storage and Cloud Bank. So quite a portfolio. We offer GreenLake through all of this, our GreenLake's as a service solution. And on the top of that, HPE InfoSight is what brings it all together to deliver that AI-driven experience. So the next couple of slides in here, they go through a little bit more detail on what we mean when we talk about the intelligent data platform being AI-driven, built for the cloud, and delivered as a service experience. But you're going to hear a lot of that. So in the interest of not showing you too many marketing slides, I want to go. I just want to show you 3 more. So stay with me for 3 more slides because I want to show you how our customers are using this today. So we'll skip these couple. These are on InfoSight. You'll hear more about This is Visilat. These are a a service provider in Norway, in Oslo. They've been a big 3PAR customer. They're using InfoSight now, right? They just adopted it, I don't know, maybe in the last year or so. What their big takeaway was that they were able to do, they transformed their data center as well, too. They updated a lot of their technology. They started to use InfoSight, and they could do it with fewer staff, right? And basically what it did for them as a business is it strengthened their capabilities or the view that their customers had of them, right? Which was a big win for them. So that was Visilet. Now I'm going to talk about the cloud. The next customer I wanted to highlight is Stoop Brothers. And we talk about infrastructure in our business. These guys have the real infrastructure, right? They, company that started in the 1850s, when they were starting to build train tracks out west. I guess this is out west. I'm from Boston, in case you couldn't tell. But, and they're still in the infrastructure business, pipelines, that type of thing, big infrastructure. They use Nimble with Cloud Volumes. They use Cloud Volumes as part of their backup solution. So this was a great instance. They wanted to, they take the Nimble storage snapshots and move them to Cloud Volumes. So they saw this 75% performance improvement, right? Which was good for them. And then last but not least, the as a service story. This is GreenLake, right? This particular customer, I'm going to say it. Flyvo Ziekenhuis Hospital in the Netherlands. They deployed 3PAR with GreenLake. Again, they were doing a data center transformation. It was a big deal to them to be able to get that predictable, pay-as-you-go, monthly payment type of thing. And they implemented GreenLake for the first time, was part of this data center transformation, and saw great, it's 30% OPEX savings and a modernized infrastructure without having to add staff. So these are 3 examples of how we're, the intelligent data platform is here. It's now, right? We, like I said, it's part of our DNA now. It's part of our infrastructure. It's part of the roadmaps that these guys worry about. So it's here to stay. And I think that is it. I'll skip these are some other customers that we've had. But anyway.
What is GreenLake? So
GreenLake is part of our Point Next organization, part of the, and it's basically, it's a pay-as-you-go capacity on demand type of service. We started using it for 3PAR, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago now. But it's a big deal for our company now. And I think you've heard, I don't know if you heard Antonio, he spoke at at Discover. It's, this as a service experience we want to have rolled out to all of our customers, I think by 2022, I think was the year, right? So it's because we know that customers want predictability, and how they consume their IT. They want the flexibility to just say, you know what, I need more today, right? And there it is, right? So that's what GreenLake's all about.
But it's also key is that GreenLake's also managed. So
correct.
So you don't have to do the mundane operations of it or upgrading it or all that.
Yeah, that's true.
All the hard stuff.
Yeah, we have a lot of customers who say, just take this away. And GreenLake will be happy to come in and do that. So, good?
Yeah, and for what it's worth as well, GreenLake is, when we were at Discover, was probably one of the bigger topics of discussion, because it seems that HPE is, I don't say betting the future of the company, but promising the future of the company with GreenLake. And in fact, I believe that Antonio Neri said that everything HP sells would be available through GreenLake in another 2 years.
Yeah. I think 2022. Yeah.
And so that's pretty remarkable kind of statement, because it's a total shift in how HP does everything they do.
And I've asked a bit about that. I mean, what does it take to do it? I mean, if you got a product like MSA, which is our entry storage array, that's going to be available on GreenLake. How are we going to do that? And it's going to take engineering work, but basically somebody's going to be able to go into a portal and say, I want this much capacity of MSA, and they'll be able to go in there and get it.
Yeah. It's been great. We had another customer, I just know another example of this. They're an online retailer in Europe. They have their version of Black Friday, right, around the holidays or something, and they deployed 3PAR with GreenLake. And at that time of the year, they were able to dial up their capacity so that they knew that they would be able to handle their on-demand, through that holiday season. And this was a few years ago that they did that. So it was just my first experience with how GreenLake was going to make a difference to a customer.